Talking Tangos.
Talking Tangos. This is Scott in Los Angeles.
This is Angie in Kansas, or in Oklahoma. Sorry, I was previously Kansas City, so hard to get used to the Oklahoma.
Where am I? Who am I? What am I?
Where am I?
And I'm WeHoScott. I'm not even in WeHo anymore.
Yeah. Well,
Studio City Scott doesn't sound good.
Nah. No. And we are talking tangos, and we are talking about, oh, heck, week 6?
Yeah, it's the midway point.
Week
so
6,
I guess it's
it was Famous Dances week. I was a little hesitant about this week, thinking, depends on what they choose. But right. I pretty much loved this week across the board.
I did too. And it's funny you said you were hesitant about it, because there were at least half the dances where I was hesitant as they announced what it was going to be. And I kept thinking, John Travolta and You Should Be Dancing? Who would give that? That's cruel. Who would give that to someone? But every time they rose to the occasion. Yeah, so I had it on a microscopic level each dance, you know?
Yeah, and they gave, what did I count? 5 people jazz, which meant they could basically do contemporary, whatever they wanted.
Yeah, that's almost like freestyle.
Exactly.
Yeah, which was good.
And there were some people who actually got a dance style that barely gave a nod to that dance style. And then
Len would not have approved. I'm glad Len wasn't there, because my
hated this entirely.
He doesn't get into the spirit of a theme and remember that it's a television show.
Exactly.
Not a ballroom competition, you know.
Right. So anyway, I was interested to see how that was going to pull off, what kind of styles they were going to give people, and then we started the show. And my first note is I loved that opening number.
Loved it. I love our pros. I love the troupe. I loved everything.
Yeah, I mean, and I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 different shows, and I may have missed 1 or 2 because there may have been like an All That Jazz one or something that I couldn't figure out what it was. The top hats and tails with the guys, and then the black dress girl. I wasn't quite sure which one that was.
Yeah, what was that?
You know, we saw Witney with Beyonce and Single Ladies, and we saw Chorus Line with Lindsay as Cassie in front of the mirrors dancing, and then the one troupe coming forward. I loved that. And Anna and Tony as Fred and Ginger, and we got Karina for Flashdance. That was a perfect casting there.
And I'm so glad that was there and not given to one of them to do, because that would have been weird.
Oh, it would have been very, very weird.
We really couldn't do that. Yeah.
We got Derek as Gene Kelly and Singing in the Rain. Perfect. We got Theo and Val and Mark doing MC Hammer, Don't Touch This. So, I mean, there was a lot of stuff that I felt like this was definitely, this entire theme was calling to people my generation and older.
Yep, I agree.
So, and we had a guest judge this week of Olivia Newton-John.
That was exciting.
She was very sweet. She was very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, she gave somebody a 7.
She did. She went down for it. She and Bruno, I think, gave the 2 7s, while the others gave the 8s.
Yeah. So, but I thought it was great because there were two different dances that were given that were, you know, she was kind of related to definitely the Grease dance thing, and then also having worked with John Travolta like she did. So that was and
great. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but I kind of think with her history, you know, when music videos came out, I mean, everyone started doing a lot of dancing, but I kind of think she was pretty much a singer, had some great hits in the 70s, and then she landed the role for Grease and had to learn to really dance for that. So I don't think she's someone, maybe I'm wrong, she might have had some, I mean, a lot of celebrities have dance training, they're very well-rounded, but I don't think she was like a known dancer going into Grease. I think it was sort of like Travolta going into Saturday Night Fever. They became it as movie stars. So I kind of like that aspect of her judging. I'm not sure she contributed a lot of insights other than loved it, didn't love, you know.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was nice.
So we started off with Hayes and Emma with a jazz routine to Grease, and I died a little inside when Hayes said, "What's that?"
Of course you died. Of course. Really, I mean, I know Fred and Ginger, and they're before my time.
But yeah, I was just kind of I mean, I understand you're 15, but how do you not have seen Grease? Really?
It's just, how do you not? I mean, The Wizard of Oz was before my time, but I saw it.
Yeah, well, because it plays every year.
And I'm gay.
But anyway, I kind of went, shoulders, and kind of I thought he was frame a little sloppy. I mean, it wasn't in frame, wasn't in hold, but I just thought his posture was a little, a little hunchy, but he looked like a 15-year-old to me.
I thought the dance was a little bit of a mess, not a disaster. It's funny, I guess it was Carrie Ann who, I don't remember what she said. One of them I agreed with. I'm trying to read my notes here. I think one of the ones I disagreed with. I think I disagreed with Olivia Newton-John about the choreography. It was okay. I don't know if it was my favorite choreography of the night.
Yeah, Carrie Ann did say he was a little bit flat Stanley. That's
what it was. And she kind of nailed it on that.
Yeah, kind of box step. She's like, I don't know what that is. It was a little flat Stanley to me. So, yeah, there was a little bit of that. Like I said, I felt like he was a 15-year-old in this one.
Yeah.
Whereas in some of the others, I was like, oh, he's great. But they ended up with 4 8s for 32.
That was fine. That seemed like a 32.
Yeah, I had no problems with those scores. And then we moved on to Andy and Allison with the jazz review, Good Morning from Singing in the Rain.
Loved it. Tough dancing shoes to fill, but they did it. Right down to the costume.
That was terrific for Andy with so many props.
He just nailed it, and Allison just shined. She was so good. She's really worked wonders with him.
Yeah, although I wasn't sure it was a 40. Because there were some.
Yeah, I'm not sure when I started seeing.
They weren't perfectly in sync a couple times, and I wasn't sure it was a perfect. I would have given them maybe a couple 10s, couple 9s.
Right. Once I saw some of the other 40s, once I saw the other perfect scores, I'm not sure this was as perfect as that, but it was definitely like a 38, 39 out of 40.
Yeah, I mean, he handled the stairs well. I was expecting him to slip and fall on the stairs.
And it was his best one.
Yeah, and to slip and fall, get tangled up in those dang raincoats. I thought, this could be a mess. Yeah. But no, they did great, and I love seeing the confidence he's got now.
Yeah, and she did a wonderful piece of choreography.
Yes,
really,
all the iconic bits.
Yeah, yeah.
So they did. I thought they did great. Third dance was Alexa and Mark with a cha-cha to Britney Spears' "Slave for You" from, was it the VMAs? Was it the VMA performance, I think they said? Yeah. So she looked great to start. I mean, that whole above the cage shooting down where she's laying in the cage, I thought, this is going to be really cool. It's another very Mark-esque, conceptual dance. But my reaction was, meh, where was the cha-cha? Right. It was the first one that I saw that it's like, okay, this is how they're going to they're not barely going to give a nod to what the dance style is if they don't have jazz. Right. And I think Carrie Ann was right when she's like, she kind of felt that that she didn't bring it, it just like fully, like you got to bring it more. Like it wasn't. And the comment about they thought she looked better with the snake. I thought she looked terrified with the snake. Yeah, that was awkward. As soon as she was carrying the snake out there, she's like, oh, God, this thing's going to bite me. It's going to bite me. I got to be careful. I didn't think she was grounded and brought it at that point because she never looked comfortable. I think it was a wise move. Yeah, not a wise thing with that. So, and they ended up with, this is where Olivia Newton-John gave him a 7 because they got 8, 7, 7, 8 for a 30. That was a little harsh, but. Yeah, especially coming down after last week. I mean, I'm sure she's feeling like, blah. Yeah. Because last week was such a high for her. Exactly. So, and then we moved on to Bindi and Derek with the Loved it. From Dirty Dancing. I've had the time of my life. And my first note was, boy, the producers are in her corner. Could they have given her any more of a well-known, beloved, iconic dance? Yep. So, I mean, it seems like they're padding her big time. And how perfect to put it to a rumba, which I thought was really, really good because the sexy part of it, kind of really works with that. That's the only part that there was a little bit of rumba was at the very beginning. After that, it was all mambo. Yeah, it really was kind of, wasn't it? Mambo. Which is kind of what it was in the movie, too. Yes, it was. Well, it was mambo, and then a little bit, the second half of it was all more, that Johnny style, going to dance his style, his way. Right, right. So. Did I predict she was going to win last week? I'm still thinking she did. We said she's going to win. She's our winner. And I think they're pushing her to do it too. And I don't have a problem with it. I think she's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I love her. So yes, I do too. And they ended up with a perfect 40. So all 10s. I agree with it. Totally. So then we move on to couple 5, which was Paula and Louie to a jazz to Madonna's Vogue, and it was the
my favorite Madonna song,
the MTV Award performance.
Yeah, do that, not the pointy bra, because Paula, and she made note of that. But that's very clever to do that was very good to do the award show version.
Yeah, that was clever of Louis. I mean, it's very clever choreography because it was a lot of walking and posing.
Exactly.
So, but even then, I think she kind of missed it a little bit as far as really bringing the stopping and the posing and the. But I mean,
my note is Paula's time has come and gone, and then obviously it did. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, well, and my note was, oh my God, the man shorts.
Yeah.
And then I fell off the couch when Tom said, men's shorts available from stuffasockin.com. That comment.
That's great.
Yeah, it was as they were kind of getting everybody over, getting Paula and Louis over to them to get the scores. He's like, and the men's shorts are available on stuffasockin.com.
Too funny. Too funny.
So, and they ended up with all 6s for a 24. So she had her high point last.
We're at the halfway point, and it really aggravates me when you don't start losing the novelty acts. You know what I mean? It's time now. We're getting to the second half, so it becomes really apparent who doesn't really belong there.
Yeah, we're to the point with the couples that are left. We're going to lose somebody every week. Yeah. The sixth couple was Carlos and Witney.
The next one.
To Pony from Magic Mike. I can't believe this is a famous dance already. This is Magic Mike XXL, isn't it? Was this from the first one or from the second one? Pony's from the second one.
Carlos and
Whitney. Isn't Pony from the second Magic Mike? Isn't it from Magic Mike XXL?
I didn't see it, so I don't know.
Well, I have it, and I have the CD because Maddie B sang 2 songs on it, and I'm a huge Maddie B fan.
You would think I would, but my notes say Carlos has a perfect body.
Yeah,
I mean, perfect body.
He looked real, and I heard somebody say that he'd had trainers in all week to buff him a little bit as much as they could because he knew that shirt was coming off, along with the other 4 backup dancers behind him who already were ripped and cut.
Oh, so looking at the package, so did he like suddenly find religion and prudishness or something? That was weird.
Well, remember his most memorable year week was about the fact that after they came off tour, he was in his house smoking pot and then went to church with somebody and kind of changed his life. And then he went to a Bible study and he met his wife and blah, blah, blah.
Now he can't take his shirt off and dance sexy.
Yeah, well, I think it was the stripper aspect of it, the raunchy stripper aspect of it. So maybe he hadn't seen Magic Mike either.
Yeah, interesting.
So, but I thought he did a great job.
Absolutely. His best dance.
A lot of rumba. There's a little. I mean, Witney was in and out very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm less impressed with Witney this season than I have been in past seasons.
Yeah. As
far as her choreography goes.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And they ended up, and my thing was, okay, that was kind of sexy. And I'm not a big Carlos fan. Not really.
Yeah, no, I thought it was his best dance. I thought their scores reflected it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, 2 10s and 2 9s for a 38. The 2, Julianne and Olivia gave them the 9s, and then the 10s, Kirianne and Bruno. So 38 for them. Then we move on to couple 7, which is Nick and Sharna with a samba to Saturday Night Fever's You Should Be Dancing. First choreography I saw where there was actual samba or actual content of the assigned dance. So Sharna is like my second favorite choreographer. She and Derek are kind of right up there for me as far as their choreography.
Right.
And I said, that looks sharp to me. I mean, he looked really sharp. I mean, either could have been a little taller. I mean, he felt maybe a little slumped into his hips a little bit rather than being taller with those hips forward all the time. Right. But I loved the choreo. I thought there were times he looked amazing and totally into it.
Totally. Some of his moves were just so sharp and he just like cut through. I thought it was his best dance. I thought he did great. I mean, to jump into that role, I mean, it's so iconic, you know? And pull it off. Like I said before, it's like, oh, don't give them that. That's cruel. How is anyone going to live up to it? But they did.
Yeah, and I saw somewhere somebody complaining about the dance floor being distracting. I'm like, because they recreated the dang scene. That's what the dance floor was in the movie, for God's sake. So yeah, it felt like that scene in the movie. You know,
right.
that whole, you know, the crowds and dancing in and out and on the disco dance floor. And I kind of loved it. And they ended up with 39. Carrie Ann said he kept going in and out of character. Carrie Ann does not.
I had to give him all 10s.
She's got something for him. Either that or she's trying to keep him down so that later on she can say, see, now you've improved. Now I can give you a 10. So we'll see. There are times that Carrie Ann makes sense. Couple number 8 was Alek and Lindsay doing a jive to Elvis's Jailhouse Rock.
Yeah.
My one comment was I wish he would have pointed his toes on his kicks and flicks. His feet were a little dangly floppy. But he did have some good footwork. There were times I saw really good footwork and I went, ooh, look at that footwork as they're kind of moving forward, doing the jive part of it.
Yeah.
And he was working really hard to be expressive. I could actually see him working to be expressive and show emotion and smile and all of that because he'd kind of come in and out of it a little bit.
You know, he was a fast learner this season, and I sometimes wonder if he's kind of peaked or if he's like reached his limit for advancing. I don't know. But I just wonder if he's also maybe a little distracted by some stuff. I don't know. Lindsay's fabulous. I love her. And I love her choreography. I just feel like he was giving us such good stuff in the first few weeks. And I feel like he's baby.
Yeah, and maybe it's just the fact that he has so many distractions. Had that 2 weeks of distractions, you know, first with the Oregon shooting and then his friend being stabbed. You know, the friend he was on vacation with,
right.
His France was stabbed, and it was like, this poor guy, you know, I mean, he hasn't had a chance to catch his breath. So that may...
Yeah, I think it's been...
And he may have reached his potential as far as learning stuff quickly. I mean, he picked up stuff really quickly and improved quickly there at the beginning. And this may be it as far as he would need more intensive training to correct a few things and get the performance, because it's also the performance aspect, since doesn't come from a performance background at all. You know, he's a regular schmo from the street. So that's, you know, they ended up with 2 8s and 2 7s. I thought the 7s were a little harsh. So did I lose you again? Well, folks, we are having technical difficulties. So Scott is frozen.
Now you just like went super fast and caught up.
Oh, and all I heard was that you went super fast and caught up.
Yeah, I think it might be my end. I don't know. I got to change my modem out.
So what I was saying was they got 2 8s and 2 7s, and I thought the 7s were kind of harsh.
Yeah, it was kind of harsh. I read it wasn't that bad. It just wasn't, you know, we said before, the growth speed is slowed down. So yeah,
I hope he has a breakthrough performance here in the next week or so, because I'm worried for him as far as being on the chopping block because of scores and, you know, people voting. So we'll see, because they ended up with a 30.
Right.
And then our last couple was Tamar and Val doing a jazz to Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation. And
that was a great
perfect dance for her, because she didn't have to partner. She could have a blank face and nobody would care. So that was the perfect dancing automaton, which is what I think my feelings of Tamar Oz is. My feelings about her is that she is an automaton. She's very, very flat. And
I agree.
She doesn't connect.
Yeah.
With a partner. She's awkward in hold.
Right.
So yeah, I said, and I thought she threw her hands away occasionally. I thought her hands looked, you know, a little floppy sometimes. There was some missing sharpness because those movements were pretty much iconic. And I said no partnering is Tamar's strength.
It's true.
So, which is a problem, because they still have some things some in-hold dances. I got to go back. That's one thing I didn't do. Is I didn't go back and look and see who's got what left. I did put everybody's scores in the description.
Yeah.
So that'll be in the description here from this week and last week's, which I finally got up. I'm terrible about that, but got it up and kind of put everybody in order. So when we got to the bottom, we had Paula and Louie and Alexa and Mark. And I think, was Alexa down there? Alexa shouldn't have been down there at the bottom as far as scores went.
Right, I agree.
Scores, it was Paula and Alek were the bottom two as far as judges' scores went for the 2 weeks.
Right.
So all I can figure out is that if it was a true bottom two, then Alek is getting more votes than Alexa.
Right, right.
So, but you definitely saw that Alexa was really upset when she found out that she was in the bottom.
Oh, she was. It was clear.
So,
it was clear. Definitely. Well,
so,
there you go.
Paula went home, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Like I said, we are to the point where we're ready to have all good dancers.
Right, right.
In the show, and we do from now on. It's going to be whoever goes home. It's going to be a jolt because it's going to be a good dancer.
Exactly, exactly. And it's hard to predict. You don't know who's got an extra fan base going on there and who the audience is watching. So it's always a little surprise. I've seen some big surprises over the last few years.
Yeah. So next week is Halloween week.
That'll be fun.
So it will be very fun. We're going to get, and we've got team dances.
Right.
So I saw the teams were posted. It's Team Bindi and Team Nick. Those are the two cumulative high score people.
Right.
And so far, Team Bindi, they have Bindi and Derek, Alexa and Mark, and the Pena Vegas on that team.
Right.
The other team is Nick and Sharna, Tamar and Val, Andy and Allison, and oh shoot, who am I forgetting? Hayes and Emma.
Right.
So I didn't see names yet, but they do. So far, Derek and Bindi's team, their song is Ghostbusters. So
fun.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah, it should be good.
So you have a prediction for next week as far as who's going home? As far as the leaderboard, at the bottom, I think, is Hayes and Emma and Alexa and Mark.
Right.
Alexa and Mark are at the bottom with 30, and Hayes and Emma are 32.
It's hard to predict because I never know if like a kid like Hayes has like a big fan base following. I don't know if they're watching. I feel like he didn't do great this week, and those scores are going to hurt him. I think it could be either him or Alek, believe it or not. I don't know how many people are voting for him.
It's hard to say.
It really is. It really is.
Well, I take that back. The two bottoms are Alexa and Alek. They both have 30.
You know what? It could be either one of them. I think it actually will be one or the other of them.
Yeah, I'm thinking Alexa because I'm thinking Alek may have more people voting for him just from that whole, everyday guy, everyday Joe, and hero. Right.
Right. I think you're right. We've seen how far that's gone in the past. So
yeah. So we'll see. My prediction is Alexa.
Yeah.
For my bottom two, but the bottom two should be Alek and Alexa. I mean, those are the two as far as the scores go.
Right.
So if Alek is not in the bottom two, then we know I would say he's getting a lot of votes.
Yeah.
If we have Alexa and somebody else in the bottom, and that next person would be Hayes and Emma, as far as judges' scores go. So.
And I think Emma has fans. Believe it or not, you can't discount the pros having fans.
Oh no, I think there's certain pros, Max and Val and Derek. I think
they get votes.
Fan bases.
Yeah.
So they boost their. I think that's one reason Bethany Moda stayed around as long as she did with Derek.
Yeah.
Because she was completely unknown.
Yeah.
And then Rumor, I think, stayed around for a while. I mean, ended up hung around there at the beginning because Val had a fan base.
Right.
That was kind of voting. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, we shall see. I look forward to next week, Halloween week, and we hope you all can join us.
Yep.
Leave us a comment. Give us some feedback. Tell us if you love us. Don't tell us if you hate us. But we will see you all next week when we are talking Halloween week.
Yay! See you next week.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.